My entire career has been entrepreneurship. I'm 32 now, going back to the time when I was in high school. I had your typical young entrepreneur ventures, and then towards the end of college, I started my first business that would go on to become an actual valuable, high-income producing business. And in between now and then, there have been 2 other businesses I've started that have done quite well. But at this point, I would rather acquire a business than start a business. Even though all my success has been around starting a business, I would now much rather acquire a business. And you can see some of my other YouTube videos where I look at businesses online and kind of analyze them and give my anecdotes and 2 cents on the businesses I might be interested in. So why is that? Well, for starters, it has to do one thing with focus. And I know every entrepreneur motherfucker out there that follows Gary Vaynerchuk hears the word focus, 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 focus. And that's true. But the reality is, it is much fucking easier to focus on something when it is actually producing income and money. That's the reason why so many little entrepreneurs just lose their focus, because they can't focus on anything because they don't have anything to focus on, because nothing produces money. When something is producing money, when the business is making money, I will tell you, it is really fucking easy to focus on that one thing that is making money. But when you're kind of scatterbrained or trying to, do some startup that's making no money, you cannot focus on it. Or maybe you can't. I don't want to say you cannot focus on it, but it is really freaking hard to just focus on this thing that is making no money. When something's making money, it is very freaking easy to focus on, right? So when you acquire a business, you are already buying a business that has a stream of money and revenue coming into it. It is making money. It is much easier to focus on that one business than anything else and ultimately grow that business. Next up, when you acquire a business, you can operate the business as an owner and not a youpreneur. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you start a business, unless you were just really convicted to it and you're kind of going into it with this private equity startup approach of, all right, we're going to build out an org chart, we're going to market the hell out of it, and basically our budget for marketing is infinity until we can drive enough sales and revenue into this system to actually make it break even, which may or may not even happen. But anyways, unless you just want to throw that kind of money at the startup, you're going to be doing a lot of things right off the get-go. You are going to be the key man in that business. And I mean, beyond that, you're going to be the key employee, right? You're going to be deeper than the key man. You're going to be the key everything in that business. So then how can you actually focus on using your skills to actually grow the business and using your business acumen to leverage it if you're stuck working in the business? And with that, you also have no proof of concept, or I don't want to say proof of concept, but proof of market fit. All right, so you don't know, just how large it can go. You might know it's a large market. You may have done some demographic research, but you don't know exactly that it's going to work there. When you acquire a business, you know that this business in this location that does this thing is earning money and it's profitable and there's a demand for these services, right? On a broad picture, that might not be relevant, right? Like, for example, there's a demand for gas stations everywhere. Broadly speaking, there's a demand for gas stations. At this moment, in 10 years, that might not be the case with all these EVs coming up, right? So, or I guess maybe a gas station is an example. Let's just say pet stores. There's broadly a demand for pet stores all over. But is there a demand for a pet store in this one specific neighborhood or city, right? Like, yes, there is broadly a demand for pet store and people need it, but are you going to be competitive in this one local market? So when you're kind of running a local small business, you have very high concentrated risk on local factors. And you don't know how those factors are going to pan out when you actually start the business. When you acquire a business or buy one that's existing, those kind of fundamentals have already been established, and it's been established that in the market there is some demand for this business, and we can compete with the local alternatives here. Or in some cases, the alternatives online, maybe they're not so local. And finally, leverage, right? It's incredibly easy to finance. I don't want to say incredibly easy, but easier than most people would expect to finance the acquisition of a small business using an SBA 7A loan. So you can get a small business with 10 or 20% down, right? And then if you're buying at a safe, well, it depends on the multiple, but if you're buying at a 3 to 5 multiple, you can pay for the business out of the cash flow of the business and still have an income left over for yourself. So roughly, on a 10-year note, if you were paying we'll go with a 5x multiple, that's on the higher side, but this is just easier to do the math. On a 10-year note, that 5x multiple because you're paying 5 times annual earnings, is going to be about 50% of the income from the business. So if you buy a business at a 5x multiple, it's making, say, 400 grand a year, so you pay $2 million for it. After your debt service and paying the actual debt and interest on it, making your loan payment on the business, you still have 50% of that income, $200,000 a year, left over as your actual salary. So you can have less money in the business, get more money exposed to other investments, namely in my case, the stock market. I'm a big stock market investor. And you can have leverage, right? So you've only got, in the case of a $2 million business, you've only got $400,000 invested in that business. You can have the rest of your money, if you have that, invested in other places and earning returns. You're getting $2 million worth of exposure to the small business market for only $400,000. So that's why I would rather acquire a business than start one at this point. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.